Hi, Alan Stratton from Woodturners. I recently participated in the Woodturners Worldwide online symposium. It was a great event. I did a couple of demos, but I saw a lot of other demos that I really appreciate. One was by Emma Cook, where she turned and carved a pumpkin box. Now, you can replicate somebody else's project, or you can be inspired by somebody else's project. In this case, I feel like I was inspired by Emma's project because she used basswood, which I hate as a turning wood, because it's a great carving wood, and then she used carving tools to carve it. Well, I don't have those carving tools, and that's not my style. So I was inspired to make this pumpkin box. Nice lid, loose fit, but I also decided to not put a jack-o'-lantern face on this because I really want to be able to use this pumpkin box all fall till, say, Christmas season. So let's turn this pumpkin box.
This wood is partially spalted sweet gum from my yard in Oregon. While spalting, it also developed some checks that I will have to watch out for. But CA to the rescue. As usual, the first order of business is to cut a mounting tenon, then trim and cut a tenon on the opposite end. Then a quick trip to the bandsaw to cut off the lid portion. Then mount the bottom portion to a chuck for a more secure mount. A peeling cut with my bowl gouge removes a lot of the corner wood in short order. This is mostly a trim operation. Since I'm seeing checks in the end grain, I will apply some thin CA glue to stabilize the wood. Now with the lid portion mounted, I can trim it to a reasonable dimension. Next, measure for an expansion mount with my smallest chuck jaw set. Then, cut the mortise with a box scraper and clean the bottom with a gouge. Back and forth, I have swapped back to the bottom portion while I apply some thin CA to the lid portion. Rather than a lot of hollowing, I'm drilling out the center of the bottom portion with a large Forstner bit. With that wood removed, it will be much more comfortable than hollowing with hand tools. With the center removed, I can hollow it a bit more with my box scraper. The CA on the lid is dry, so I can switch back to working the lid. Even then, the CA fumes are pungent. Now to cut a tenon on the lid portion and fit it to the bottom portion. Next, I will join the two pieces together to shape the overall shape. Although I want a loose fit for the lid, it turns out that I cut it just a trifle too small. Therefore, as I join them together, 2 layers of paper towel are needed to wedge them together instead of just one layer. No problem. Now to shape the pumpkin. Really, the only good way to establish the overall shape is to turn the two pieces while they are together. With my bowl gouge, I'm cutting a profile that I think will suggest a pumpkin shape. I have never seen two pumpkins that are identical. Some taller, some shorter, some fatter, some skinny, some distorted. Other than shape, my other considerations are to keep enough wood on the lid portion for a stem and to not let my outer shape get smaller than the internal hollow. I work back and forth while removing wood to achieve a visual balance. I wound up this portion with a small tenon on the bottom shape. Now that I know the outer profile for the lid, I can do just a little more hollowing on the interior of the lid. Earlier, I cut that expansion mortise. I want to keep it still so that I can turn the stem portion. Then sand and apply shellac finish to the lid's interior. I have now mounted the bottom part using that small tenon. Mainly for now, I want enough to hold it while I sand and apply finish to the bottom interior. Now that the interior is finished, I'm mounting the bottom portion using an expansion hold. Easy does it! The wood is thinner now, and it would not take much to split it apart. The live center provides additional security until the last stroke to clean up the base. I will not sand this now since I will be carving the exterior. Back to the lid. I need to put the final shape on the lid exterior. What was the tenon will now become the pumpkin's stem. Finally, put the top and bottom together. Align the grain and draw lines to guide where I will carve. I know a standard pumpkin does not have this many grooves, but what is a standard pumpkin? The first carving is with a large wheel cutter in a right angle tool. I am establishing lines and their depth. This is nasty, dusty work, but I am wearing a respirator to save my lungs. Next, I have changed to a round rasp profile. With this, I can widen the grooves and blend more to the outer skin. Now a sander head with coarse paper to round out more. After that, I will sand through the remaining grits for a reasonable surface. For a final exterior finish, I am applying walnut oil. Then let it dry a couple of days, then buff it to smooth it a bit more and to give it a touch of shine. Et voila! My pumpkin! My pumpkin does not need a scary face. Having no face will extend how long I can enjoy it. I am happy with the color of the sweet gum. It is close enough that I do not want an artificial color applied to the wood. The lid is easily removed with one hand. The stem provides a handle. Inside, I can put different seasonal goodies for when I want to sneak a treat. Also, please remember the Ornament Challenge coming up shortly in November. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe on my website, and tell your friends. I appreciate your comments and questions. Every week I make a new woodturning video and add it to my website. As usual, I appeal for you to wear your full face shield for safety anytime the lathe is running. I will see you next week with another woodturning video.